Morning, everyone. Okay, you're welcome, guys. Okay. Let's start about today's chapter. Then before we start, then I'd like to introduce the learning objective of the lesson for today. Like, as you know, that at the end of the lesson, you are expected or you should be able to describe the system software in more detail. Then it's just like a recap of what we did yesterday. Then it's just we are advancing today. And then we must be able to identify the different types of the system softwares. Then I believe you know them because we did most of this yesterday. And then explain the advantage and disadvantage of the different types of the system softwares. Describe drivers and utility, and understand the importance of the computer security and software piracy. So the more emphasis today is going to be on software piracy. Okay, let's start. Great chance. Okay. Now, we also will have the focus on integrated versus a standalone software. Like, since we know some of the software, then we can use them online, others we can use them only on our individual PC that is not connected online, that we call it a standalone computer. Integrated software, these are the software that we can be able to share or use them as a package. Then these are different types of the software that we are now going to talk about today. More especially focusing on the system software. Then we're going to talk about the freeware, the shareware, the proprietary software, and open source software. Now, like yesterday, this is just a recap of what we did yesterday. So now, since we know what the difference between system and application software, then these are examples of what we spoke about yesterday. Like we said, for the recap, we all know, can I ask the question from you guys, then you can respond from me on chat. So what's the difference between system software and application software? I just want to see whether you still remember what we did yesterday. Okay. Morning, everyone. Morning, Mosa. Morning, Taris. Morning, Leonhead. Okay, let's respond very quick, guys. Just to save our time, I just want to see whether tomorrow, then we have yesterday, not to say tomorrow. So yesterday we are following the lesson in class. I want to know the difference between system software and application software. So what's the difference between the two? Like you see here, these are the examples of system software and application software. So now I want you to tell me what's the difference between the two. Can you please just respond very quickly? System software, like we said, system is interrelated components of the unified whole that can work as a unit, then that we know. Then we also said this, what is the main program on our computer that does. It's just a hint that I'm just giving you. Please, guys, respond very quick. So I'm expecting you to give me some answers of what we did yesterday before I continue. And no one is responding. Okay. Nevertheless, let me just continue. A system software, like I said, is a main program on your computer that control and coordinates the functions of your computer. Like, for example, the hardwares together with your application software, then they are coordinated by your operating system. And application, like I said, is a self-explanatory because then normally I said application is a task-specific program. Then that means it can help you as a user to accomplish a certain specific task. So that's what you can simply do with your application program. So these are the examples of the application program like we spoke about yesterday. Like we see, we've got Opera, that is for web browser, Microsoft Word, then you can type the letters. That's why it's a task-specific program. Like I said, MySQL is for the database management system. This one is for the presentation that I'm using currently right now. Actually, you can listen to the music VLC media player, that one you can listen to the music. World of Craft, that is for the gaming. Adobe Photoshop, that's for design. So like all these applications are task-specific programs. Yes, Leonhead, you are saying the operating system and other software that control, maintain, and secure the operation of the computer. That's correct. That's the system software. Correct, Leonhead. And then, so now we know about this. Okay, an application, like I said, is a task-specific program. Now, let's talk about other example, because this is an extended software concept, because we spoke about a general, what is a software, then we know is an instruction that tells hardware what to do and how to do that. So like I said, we've got two categories of these softwares, like an application and system software. But now we are talking about more examples of these categories of this software. Then now we have what is so-called freeware. It's made available for the use without charge. The intellectual property is retained by the developer. So that, like we say, we know intellectual property, we are talking about the work of other people that need to be acknowledged. Like for example, then we can talk about the patent. So that is all about the generation of your new idea that need to be protected from others using it. So that's what intellectual property covers. And then we can talk about the copyright. So whereby other people, they don't have right to use your patent without your license or giving them the rights. So that's all about the intellectual property. And then we've got the trademark or the trade secret, so that they need to get the license or the rights from you to use that. Sometimes free, like the freeware, sometimes free use is restricted. Software may be free to use for non-commercial or educational purpose, but not in all industries. But the license is required for commercial use. The license, that means that's when now you grant or you give the rights of use of your product, software product. The rationale here is that user will go on to pay for the more complete version of the software. So now let's check the other one that is called the shareware. Most shareware is delivered free of charge, but the author usually requests that you pay a small fee if you like the program and use it regularly. By sending the small fee, you become registered with the producer so that you can receive services, service assistance and updates. You can copy shareware and pass it along to the friends and colleagues, but they too are expected to pay a fee if they use that product as well. Shareware is inexpensive because it's usually produced by a single programmer and is offered directly to the customer. So these are the kind of the software. So like, for example, someone asked me the question about IT, I'm still going to put more emphasis on that because like the guys who are developing the softwares, so they're the one that we need to get the rights. Okay, can I see again what Leon had is saying? System software then or freeware, copyrighted software provided to user free of charge. Correct. Freeware contain the full program with all features needed to make the program work. That's correct. So like for example, some softwares, then you'll get them as a trial version. But if you find that no, you want to use this software, then you can buy the full product key that will give you all the accessibility of all the functionalities included in a program. But if that is on trial version, then you've got some few days and some of the features you cannot be able to access on that particular kind of the program. Okay, so let me just continue again with other, sorry. The proprietary software is a software owned by someone. It might be free or not, as opposed to open source software, which has its source code open for anyone to modify and improve and analyze. Like, for example, with open source software, then we've got the program like Linux, which is an open source. Then you can edit and customize it as you wish. But proprietary software is owned by someone. Like, for example, if you check here, Windows XP is a proprietary, but is owned by Microsoft. And then it might be free or not, but this one you know is not free, then we need to buy it. So, but when it comes to some of the browsers like Internet Explorer, then it comes with loaded with your operating system. And then these are the examples of open source. Like this one, these are the browsers. This browser comes with Microsoft-based operating system. This one comes with Linux, like you see here. This is uh, Firefox. This is our logo for Linux. So on and on. So now let's talk more about open source software, a special type of the freeware where the source code is released as well as application itself, both without charge. There are not usual restrictions on the purpose for which the application is used for. You have the freedom to use the software for any purpose, the freedom to change the software to suit your needs, like you can customize it as you want, the freedom to share the software with your friends and neighbors, the freedom to change you want. You can do anything as much as you want with this type of the software. Like there's some operating system that comes from the Linux that are re-edited or customized by other people. Like for example, I can talk about the version of Linux Ubuntu. So it's customized by one guy from Africa. Okay, can I see? It's Java language and open source software. No, so Java, remember, when we are talking about Java, Java is not a software, it's a programming language. So Ntokozo Jele is asking, is the Java language an open source software? No, Java is a programming language. There's a difference between a software and a programming language. A programming language is a language like a grammar that you use in order to write the computer programs. But now, when it comes to the program that we are using to write those computer programs, we call them the integrated development environment. Like, for example, Java can use NetBeans, can use JClass, can use BlueJ. There are so many integrated development environment. So some of them, yes, most of them, they are open source because we get them free of charge. But unlike what we're using in Delphi, then Delphi is not an open source because you have to buy the license for it. But with Java, like the BlueJ, JCrasp, then those are open source because you don't pay any cent for them. So Leonhead, proprietary software that does not belong to user. The user pay for the right to use the software but may not change it or make copies. That's correct. Intended for further distribution. That's correct. I agree with what Leonhead is saying. I believe in Togosto I have answered you. So remember that Java language is not a software, is a programming language. But the software that we use in order to write the program that are written in that particular language called Java is called integrated development environment. Yes, some of them, they are open source, like NetBeans, like I mentioned, some of them, yes. Thank you. And let me just continue with the open source. Like I said, you've got freedom to share the changes you make, and then you don't have to resell, by the way. So now, what I'd like you to do on this, then you go to the book that I've shared on the link on Monday. Kamogelo Mahlatsi morning. You go to page 128 of the book shared on Monday, then I believe everyone has downloaded the book. So you'll do this activity, then I'll just share the second screen and show you what activity is all about. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I'm going to share the new screen. Okay. Okay, like I said, this is what we have covered so far. Through this book, then you can go more into detail. Like you see here, types of the software. System software is designed to control and coordinate the task and function of the computer. This is what we said yesterday. System software allow for interaction between hardware, software, and the user. Like I said, it acts as an interface between all these three mentioned entities here. Okay, no, it's fine. Then I'll share the link. Okay, no problem. Freeware, shareware, proprietary software. Then now we know all this. And then, like, for example, okay, Kamahelo, then I'll share the book link again. So just a minute, guys. Okay, bear with me. I'll just copy the link now and share it here. Okay. Okay. Like you can go through this book, you'll have more information. Like this is more detailed information of what I've presented on my PowerPoint slide. Like you see here, the software type, freeware, shareware, and proprietary type. Then they explain them here. You can see the freeware can also be called free software, which is copyright software that is available to you free of charge. However, developer company that distribute the software keep the rights to the software. That means shareware copyright software that is distributed for free, but only for a trial period, like I said. So some features when it's trial version, then you cannot be able to access them. So you'll need to buy the product key. You pay so that you can get the product key. Then you activate what the software. Vicky, don't worry. Then you'll catch up. Then so these are the examples of this type of the software that I just spoke about. Like you see, proprietary software, also known as what closed source software, is where the source code is not given to the public or to the user. In other words, it still belongs to the distributor or developer, even if you have bought the program. So that is a proprietary software. These are the three different kinds of the software together with the examples. Like for example, like I said, the freeware, then like Gmail, Firefox, Skype, Adobe Acrobat, the reader, so on and on. So um, shareware, deposit photo, Google Music, BitTorrent. So this one mostly then you find them online. So these are the cloud-based application that we use as what that's we call them the sharewares. These are the examples of the proprietary software like Adobe Flash, the Google Earth, WinR, and Microsoft Office. Then this one you need to purchase the license for them. So now there are some advantages and disadvantages with the regard to this kind of the software. Then you should just go through the book, then you'll have more detailed information on this book. Like I said, like I wanted to show you the activity, by the way, like even the open source is explained more in detail on the book here. So I'm going to share the link, and then I want to just show you what the activity that I'm referring you to. Like I said, is on page 128. This is where the activities start. Define the following terms: freeware, shareware, open source. Then we do activity 8.1. Then and this revision activity as well. So you fill in this, and then we also just continue this up to here. Ntokozo. Okay, can I just go back to the first screen again? Okay. Now, since I'm done with that, I'm going to talk about licensing agreement for the software. Like I said, remember, these are the intellectual properties, and therefore we need to get the rights in order for us to use them. So then licensing agreement. So that's where now you have to buy the rights in order for you to use a software product. So, like for example, we've got a contract. Someone can just come and tell me what is a contract. What do you understand about the word contract? In very simple, the contract means an agreement between two or more parties. Then we must have a mutual agreement. In contract, we've got someone that is called an offerer with an offer, offeree, just to accept a contract. Like whenever people are engaged into the business activities, then they need to have a mutual agreement. That agreement forms what is so called a contract. So that is why there are some. You guys, just a minute, please. I said I'll share the book, guys. Okay, let me just share the link before I forget. Okay. Okay, there's a link. That's where you can access the book. So please don't share this with other friends, please. Like I said, the contract becomes a mutual agreement between two parties or more than. Remember, there are some liabilities in terms of any breach of contract. Someone must be liable because once you sign, that means you acknowledge the terms and conditions of the contract. This is EULA, or software license agreement. Is user licensing agreement, the contract between the licensor and purchaser, establishing the purchaser's right to use the software. Like I said, you need to get the rights. So that is a license. So the license gives you the rights to use other people's intellectual property. The single user license, then this is another kind of the license. Like you see here, you have to accept the terms and conditions of the contract. Should any breach of contract happen that you know that you must be liable for, there's a liability for that. Then a single license is a type of the copyright that restrict the use of the program to one computer or the other server. This means that the program can be installed for free on different computers. That means everyone has to have the rights for each individual machine installed on. Now let's talk about the software piracy anyway. The software piracy. Can someone just share with me of what you understand about the software piracy? Okay. Tyrese, how bad is it? Because you are saying the piracy is bad, but you not please tell us. Just try to elaborate more and tell us what you understand about the software piracy. Yes, we understand it's very, very bad, but how bad is it? Have you ever experienced that? So please share with us. So tariff is an agreement. Maybe that was a spelling error there. Like I said, a contract is a agreement between two or more parties. Then before then we get into the business, we have to sign the contract of which is a legal binding agreement. So then should any breach of the contract happen, then you should know what are the liabilities that are going to be imposed upon you. So that's it. That's a contract. So then software piracy. Okay, like I said, people must share more about their software. Like example, copying a movie online. Yes. Then if you don't have rights to do that, that becomes a piracy. Like for example, these people that are selling the music, copyrighted music on the street without the inventors or the patent rights of the owner, rights, making illegal copies of the computer programs for your own use for sale. That's correct, exactly. So sometimes people they can use the correct version of the software, of which is a software piracy, because you need to have what you need to have the product key of that particular software. So now, what are the legal implications in terms of this? So um, Vicky is saying you can go to the prison for pirates. That is correct. Leon had to say is illegal. I agree with you guys. Piracy is a crime. I agree with you because you're not getting the rights of the owner. Then instant you are infringing their rights. That's correct. That is against the law. Like someone has also asked me, then is hacking a good thing? I said no, it's not good thing. So what is that? The quality is bad. What quality is it bad? Leon had, please share. Not all the time. What do you mean? Radi, what do you mean? Okay. Software piracy is a violation of the copyright law, like I said. So then we know everyone is bound by the law on. Okay, I see. You need to know where to get the good quality of what. Just be more specific, Radi. We don't understand what you want to say. Yeah, not all the time. You need to know where to get what, good quality of what. Okay. Violation of the copyright law and form of theft. You are guilty of piracy when you illegally download a copy of the pirated programs and when you offer or resell the copy to others, regardless of whether they profit from the sales. So, like I said, and a typical example is these guys that are copying other people's music, the movies that you are selling on the street, and those are not. Yeah, that's infringement of the terms and condition. I agree with you, Togozo. No, the original copy, then you can, there are some prescribed store where you can get that. Like on the, I'm answering you, Tiro, because you asked me then, how do you know copy a piracy? Then what about online? Like I said, so you'll see some like they come like for example, if I'm saying the software that doesn't have the product key, then there's a cracker for that. That means that software is not the original software. And also then you'll get some notice online like you are using what the counterfeit software. That means already then it's gonna tell you that software is a piracy, is pirated software. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, when you offer or sell copy to other, regardless of whether you profit from them or sale, that becomes what a software piracy. Like someone said, it's a crime because there are some legal implication in terms of software piracy. Like I said, then you need to know all the liabilities. So, what are you liable for? For any breach of contract or whatsoever. Can I just continue again with the open source? Open source does just mean access to the source code. The distribution terms of open source software must comply with what? All the software right copyright acts. So now let me just talk about the drivers. Then I'm answering the question back from why let's say host system that's computer couldn't just communicate with the printer. The problem is because of the drivers. What is a driver? A driver is a software that allow your computer to communicate with hardware or devices. Without driver, the hardware you connect to the computer, for example, a video card or the printer it won't work properly, or then because there should be a communication between the two. Therefore, the drivers will be able to establish the communication between your computer and your printer. So, but if there's no driver for that, where do you get the driver? Then it comes with the CD, or you can go straight to your device manufacturer's website and download the drivers there. That's where you can download the drivers. Like I said yesterday, we spoke about the utility drivers. This is a media in which you can store your drivers in, like some. When you buy the printer, it comes with a disk like this. That disk, it has what is so called the device. It's called the device drivers. So because in order for your printer to communicate with your machine, so you need to install the drivers. So that is going to facilitate what the communication between the two devices. Because remember, we said a network is a connection of the two or more devices connected through a dedicated link. But now, to establish a communication between these two devices, a device driver must be installed on your computer so that your computer can or your operating system can be able to recognize what your hardware device. So can I see Leon had a small program that act as a translator between the operating system and a hardware device? Yes, I can agree with you. Leon had Vicky. What do you mean by the present? What do you mean? I can't understand. Maybe you have just asked the question before. Let me just go. No, I don't see. Just try to be more specific on your question or whatever. Is it a comment? Okay, can I see again? Now, like yesterday, I said under the system software, we've got the utility programs. Like I said, remember then they mentioned antivirus as one of the system software. Then I said no, an antivirus is an utility program, hence is found within your system software. Then the utility programs include files management, like what creating and moving and renaming folders, copying and deleting files. That facility within your operating system is called a utility program. File search, comparing files content, as well as performing diagnostic routine. Like for example, then I'll see something. I'm going to show you something on the book. I'll share the second screen again. Then when we go back to the book, you'll see here, like when we talk about the maintenance of your computer. Let me just go back again. I'll show you something. Like I said, go through this book. I believe now everyone has got this book. Make sure that we read this book, then we understand. Like, for example, what you see here is part of the utility program because now then you are cleaning up the disk. So where do you find this? Is part of the utility program within your, like you see here, utility programs allow you to perform computer management and maintenance tasks. Like for example, an antivirus, remember that it can maintain and administer the security and control all the viruses. These programs are much smaller in size compared to the other programs and come packaged with operating system. Like I said, they're installed, but some then like your antivirus, you have to buy it, install at later stage. For example, utility programs are backup software, disk cleaning, compression, so on. So all these are the types of the utility programs, like what you see here. Like if you see here, you go to start menu of your computer, you can just type device manager. Then when you type the device manager, you choose that, you'll get this window, like as you see here. Like what you see here, they have chosen this HID mouse. Then it tells you about the status. That's how you can troubleshoot the hardware on your machine. So if you find that something that is not working on your machine, you go through this because it mentions all the hardware that are connected within your computer system here. So then you troubleshoot that. This one is telling you that the device is working properly here. So sometimes you need to update a certain device, then that's how you can just do this. Like I said, this is a utility. It helps you to do what the maintenance task on your computer. Like here you see the device driver is more often known as what drivers are a group of programs that allow the hardware and operating system to communicate with each other, like I said. So now you know, should any question that is relevant related to the one that I've asked you about that scenario of the printer and the computer, then now you know the most important thing is what is a device driver, a program that enables a user to carry out routine computer management tasks and often technical nature. That's correct, Leonhard. So those are the utility programs. Now you understand what is a utility. Then, like I said, you go through this, you'll understand much more better about the utilities. And then even on this book, like I said, you go through the book, like what I'm presenting on the slide is not more detailed info. Like that's why I'm just referring to the book here so that you can see the other things that you have to refer to. Like I said, for you to understand much more detailed info about this, you should go in. Like for example, license agreement is between known as end user license agreement, EULA. Has three types of agreement like this one. You see that one on the slide. I haven't mentioned that, but we only spoke about the single user license. This means that you can install software on only one computer. But this one is a multi-user. This means that you can install software on several devices or which can be indicated in the license agreement. Because remember, then you have to buy what the license, of which is what the rights. When you buy the license, that means you get the rights to use what the software. Site license. This allow you to install software on the number of the at the same site. This license may be unlimited, but may also be limited to a certain number of what the users at that site. So, like I said, this information is more detailed than what we have on the slide. That is why I shared the book so that you guys, you can go through the book and have much more information regarding this. So I think so far so good. I can go back to the original slide. And okay, there we are. We're talking about the utility programs. Like I said, it does the diagnostic routine. Like we have seen, you can check whether the device is working or not. And then you can also check the performance. Like we have seen that one of the performance yesterday under the task manager, because that becomes the part of the utility, because you find it within the control panel. If you don't take the shortcut to it, then everything that is under the control panel becomes the part of the utility programs. And now we've got what is so-called generic purpose software. The most common generic software package are as follows. Like for example, word processing. These are task-specific program. In other words, this is our application, like I said. Like you see, word processing is used to produce simple documents such as letters and essay. Desktop publishing, like I said, this one is used to produce complicated documents such as leaflets, the posters, and newsletters. It's for the designers. And then we've got the graphic package used to produce pictures and diagrams. Like we spoke about the Adobe suites yesterday, like Photoshop, the Illustrator, InDesign. There are so many that you can talk of. And then we've got spreadsheet. Spreadsheet used to perform calculations and drawing the graphs. That is for data analysis. Like I said, all these are called generic general purpose software. These are your application programs now. Database, then we know we earlier spoke about MySQL. MySQL is simple called database management system. It's just a program that can help you to store your information and manipulate that at later stage, because you can retrieve and store and do some updates and whatsoever. Then that's how you can manipulate the database. So I think, do you know now about EULA? Then we know EULA now. About the consequences of the software piracy, then I believe then I really stated that, because you need to get what the license agreement, of which those are the rights from the inventor or developer of the program. So unless otherwise, if you don't do that, that becomes the infringement of other people's rights. Therefore, we should avoid that by all means. Then I'd like to entertain any question from your side. Vicky, you're saying you're going to prison for 10 years. Some are saying what I know about IT penalty, IT law penalty, it says 20 years. Any question, guys? I'd like to entertain the questions from your side so far. Please, let's make class more interactive, guys. Whatever that I've shared for the clarity, or so you can ask any question. Please, let's be relevant. 100% zero, you'll get arrested for the software piracy since you don't have the user's rights. That is why you need to get a license. So a license is a rights that you get from the owner of the software, that you can use it. That is why you need to pay a certain amount of fee. Vicky is asking, how do you get the license? Like I said, remember, when you buy the software, then you need to buy what the product key. That product key is the one that gives you what the rights to use that product. Unless otherwise, then you'll use it for the trial version. The trial version means you can just use it for the certain period of time, like 30 days. Then after 30 days, then you cannot be able to access some features or all the features at all on other software. That is why now you need to buy that product key in order for you to activate that. A license agreement between a software development company and the user of the proprietary. That is end user license agreement. Exactly. So some software, when you install them immediately, that is why before you can use it, they will just say license agreement. You click on agree. If you don't agree, that means you cannot be able to install that particular software. But now, if you agree, that means then you are binding yourself. because that is a contract, is a mutual agreement between you and the company. So they've got right to sue you guys if there's any breach of a contract or you are infringing their rights. So I think I've answered you guys so far. So that's Vicky. How do you get license? And also Leonhead has explained that to you. But when you buy it, do you buy it online or have to go directly? It depends. But remember, a software, then you can also buy it online. What is most important about the software? As long as you've got the product key, doesn't matter. The most important thing that can be able to activate your software is your product key. Okay, the Vicky, then you can also go directly to store and then you get that copy as well there. So like game and incredible connections. So yes, you can get that hard copy then, or you can also download that from online. Description a product key, also known as what software key exactly, is a specific software based key for a computer program. It certifies that the copy of the program is original 100% in Tokozo. I agree with you. So that's it, guys. So thank you for sharing knowledge anywhere on the platform. Yes, that's how the class should be more interactive. We need to share the information among ourselves. This is my bibliography. I think I'm just coming towards the end of the chapter. Like I said, I'm willing to. So product key is always important to have. Yes, that's correct. So that means that is a. It gives you the full rights of the software. That means without product key, you don't have full rights of the software. Like I said, that is why on the proprietary software they can give you it as a trial version. So then you test it. But remember, not all the functions can work. So guys, thank you. So I'd like to say thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Then I think we'll meet once again tomorrow. And then as for next week, I'm planning so that we should do the practical on Microsoft Excel. So now we are going to talk about Excel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.